What's up, people? This is Who That Edition with your favorite host, Trill Quack. And we back, baby. Week 7. Time is rolling. Good teams are showing they great. Bad teams are continue to be bad. Few surprising teams are being good and catching some surprising wins, but let's get into it. We got number 1 Texas versus 5th ranked Georgia. Texas is at home. You know St. Austin about to be lit, about to be on fire, crazy. This is a big, big game. This is Texas' biggest game so far this season. And let's get into it. I think a big thing for me will be how many carries ETN gets, right? In these big games, Georgia has been a lot of Carson Beck heavy. Carson Beck has thrown the ball, 25 plus 30 times, 40 times, 50 times. Against these big games or in these close games, Carson Beck has been their guy. And I don't think that's been really a formula for success for them. There's been a lot of closer games or, you see against Alabama, they lost. Last week, he only had 11 carries for 35 yards. And Georgia put up 41 points, right? Against Mississippi State, where your team, you would have thought Georgia would maybe be able to run some clock out, lead there with a dub. He left with a dub, but, only 11 carries for your star running back. I just think not enough. Another big thing would be, can Quint Ewers bounce back, right? Last week, against, I would say, a lesser opponent for sure in Oklahoma. The first few drives, he didn't look well, and he didn't throw the ball well, right? He was inaccurate in a couple throws that resulted in incompletions and interceptions. And also, he missed a few throws, right? Just throughout the game, missed a few reads. It was his first game back in a couple games, so I think that's what it was, rust. But Georgia's defense is a big step up from Oklahoma, so seeing how he bounced back will be big. Biggest thing for me will be Carson Beck versus this Texas secondary. This Texas secondary has not allowed nothing, right? It's Texas defense entirely. Allowed 3 touchdowns so far. Passing quarterbacks against comparable opponents. They allowed 144 yards, 199 yards, and 204 yards. For those are from quarterbacks, right? So that just shows they're stingy. They doesn't allow nothing. They play uptight, and they don't really allow your DBs to create separation. I think the biggest thing would be because Georgia, they doesn't run many route combinations. They take a lot of deep shots, a lot of 50-50 balls. That's something Austin has been going their way. But if you take enough 50-50 balls, then you're going to get a good amount be pass interference. That was my biggest thing when they played Georgia. When they play Alabama, I'm like, man, there's no really route combinations. The biggest thing is they get a lot of pass interference, and then they're able to track the ball better than Alabama defensive backs, which won't be their thing to happen against Texas, I believe. This Georgia defense has allowed 137 rush yards, 170 rush yards, and 173 rush yards this season against combo opponents. Texas runs the ball very well. Last week they ran for like 170 yards. You've seen they ran for like 150 plus against Michigan. They have 2 backs with Wise and Blue. So look for the run game to be big and effective in this game versus Georgia. But I think Texas pulls this out and wins this game because of 2 things. I think Texas secondary will take advantage of Carson Beck, same way Alabama did in that first half. I think Texas secondary will disguise a lot of things, create some pressure, and get a few interceptions from Carson Beck. And I think Texas run game will dominate. I think Weiser and Blue will dominate this game, win time of possession, and turn that clock. Get 5-6 yards of carries. When you got 2 backs that's fresh, that just keeps the momentum, and that keeps both of those guys fresh, able to hit the hole, quicker, faster, and just being fresh. I think this late in the season is big, right? A lot of teams are injured or players are, getting injury prone at this level and the pro level. So having 2 fresh backs is big in a close, tight game. But if Texas does win this game, Steve Sarkis, if Texas wins this game, Steve Sarkis can be big name, big coach in college football. Can be D-man in the SEC, I would definitely say, or D-man in the entire college football, right? we look at Ryan Day, he seems to never can win the big games. He's like, what, 1-6 in his last top 5 opponents. Then you got Kellen DeBoer. I thought he's my guy. I still got faith in him, but he hasn't shown it at Bama so far. He the big one against Georgia, but ever since that, he hasn't shown up. He hasn't had a big win or hasn't looked good, right? Dan Lanning, he lost to DeBoer twice last year. That's still hanging over him. Yes, he just had that big win over Ohio State, but like I said, Ryan Day seems to can't win the big games. And then Kirby Smart, his biggest thing, he just can't beat Bama, and they're in the SEC. So, you know, all these teams except Dan Lanning are SEC coaches. So, Steve Sarkisian to win can be the man in the SEC. He can be the head honcho, the big coach, the big guy in the SEC. But I got Texas winning this one, man. 28-20. Texas secondary will cause havoc. They will get Georgia off the field a lot on third downs. Their secondary will get a lot of PBUs, a lot of pass breakups. Look for Carson Beck completion rate to be very low. Throw a few interceptions. I think Carson Beck may throw 2. And then Texas run game to run for at least about 180, 190 rush yards. As Texas pulled this big one out. You got Alabama versus Tennessee. Tennessee is home. 7th ranked versus 11th ranked SEC matchup. This game is big for both of these teams. Either whoever loses shot at the SEC championship is over. And then the college football playoff chances are getting lower and lower and slimmer. They had 2 losses against, both against bad opponents and then 1 against good opponents. Tennessee offense, biggest thing will be, can they protect Nico? He got sacked 3 times last week, and Bama had 4 sacks last week against South Carolina. They have to capitalize on the deep shots. Tennessee and Nico has to capitalize and hit the deep ball, right? Alabama, in the last 3 games, quarterback has averaged 7 yards a completion, 8 yards a completion, and 12 yards a completion. So that just shows Bama defense is suspect to the deep shots, and they've been giving up the deep ball in the last 3 games. You have to run the ball. Tennessee has to run the ball. Sampson, he got 3. He's had 100 yards in 6 of his last 7 games. He's on 300. He's on a 100-yard 3-game streak. So Sampson is a big piece in this game. Look for him, number 6 for Tennessee running back, to have a big game and to get a boatload of carries. And for Alabama offense, they must how much should Miro run, right? Miro last 3 games have ran the ball 16 times, 12 times, and then only 7. You don't want him running the ball a lot. Last week he ran the ball, got up, rotating that shoulder, making sure the shoulder was okay. He is your offense, right? He's shown this year he's your entire offense. And you don't want him running too much, because more of him running, the more of him maybe getting injured, right? Target Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams needs to get a bunch of targets. He needs to be the focal point of this offense in the pass game. Of course, your run game, Miro and the zone read is just hard to stop for teams, and you keep that. But the passing game, Ryan Williams needs to get a lot of targets. He's been coming up clutch for them. That's good. And they may not even be in those clutch situations if, they target Ryan Williams in the first half and start out the game. They have to be balanced, right? You have to run the ball and throw the ball. You have to keep the defense honest. That zone read, run pass option is a big part of Alabama's offense, and they have to be successful with that. And that comes with running the ball and getting good yards a carry, right? You get 5 yards a carry, you get 4 yards a carry. That keeps the linebackers, involved and itching to stop the run. As soon as they come up, then you hit your Ryan Williams on the slant behind them. But with all that said, I think Tennessee wins this, man. I think Tennessee wins this game against Bama. I think Nico hits enough deep balls. I think Thornton and those wide receivers over there for Tennessee gets behind the defense of this weak, this young Alabama secondary. I think Dennis Sampson runs wild on them so far. He has 700 yards for 15 tutties. He's only behind Ashante Genty, and everybody know who he is. And then I think they've had long drives, right? Alabama has been giving up these long drives, these 14, 8-minute drives where the team milks the clock. And doing that allowing that against a good team like Tennessee would be detrimental. That would just have, Miro out his rhythm, and Miro will be, prone to throw interceptions. I think each one of his interceptions maybe have came after those long drives that the other team has done with, him and the offense have gotten cold and the connection not gone down, but, you're not in rhythm. You sit on the bench for a couple minutes, for 8 minutes, that's a long time game-wise. So, Tennessee to win, man. But if Alabama does win this, I think it'll be a shootout. But I have Tennessee winning this in a kind of shootout, I would say. I would say 28-24. 28-24, I think Tennessee wins. But if Bama wins, I think it'll be a shootout. Maybe like 38-35. Bama has the ball last. Because I don't think their defense is going to get a stop. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Nico in that pass game, those deep shots, right? He loves to throw the deep shots, and that's what Bama struggles to cover. So this is a match made to happen for Tennessee, but if Alabama offense can keep up and can score quickly, then that's how Alabama can win this game. We got Colorado versus Arizona at Arizona. Watching Colorado through 5 weeks, I've said and I believe they are a good team. They are a bold, eligible team. They're a big step up from last year's team. So I don't think this game should be close. But the big thing here, Travis Hunter versus Tattori McMillan, TT. Both are top 5 players in their respective positions. Hunter has the speed and the ball skills, while TT has the size and the ball skills. Big matchup, wide receiver versus corner. Travis, I doubt is going to follow him. He may follow him because we seen last week's corners kind of get beat against lesser wide receivers that Kansas State has. So Travis may follow him. Look out for that. Deion haven't stated that, or Robert Livingston haven't stated that, but he may. Colorado getting their guys back. Travis Hunter's back, Jimmy Horn and Will Sheppard all will play this week, so that's big for the offense, and then Travis, of course, for the defense. But I think this won't be a close game or a big game because the thing Colorado struggles in, Arizona doesn't really do well. Colorado struggles to stop the run, right? They've given up. Last week, they gave up crazy money odds, but I think DJ Giddens had like 140, 130 yards. And that's been their sus, right? You see Nebraska and you see Kansas State, their 2 losses came from teams that have just ran the ball. But Arizona doesn't do that well. Arizona doesn't run the ball much, and it doesn't lean on the run game to win games for them. So that's a good matchup and good thing for Colorado. And then Arizona really only has TT. TT has, 700 yards, but the next wide receiver only has 170. The next pass catcher leading yards is a running back, and he has 200 yards. So you take TT out of the game, that's it. Or if you just allow TT to get his, but, you contain everybody else, and don't allow TT to score, but, get couple yards, not couple, but get his yards just as he did in the Kansas State game. He had like 100+ yards, but they only scored 7 points. So make sure nobody else beats you. If TT beat you, that's fine, but don't let him, score touchdowns when he beat you. And it's an easy, I think an easy dub for Colorado. They'll be able to move the ball easily. I think they score 28+ points should be the number they try to reach because Arizona hasn't scored 28 points so far this season. So if Colorado could get to 28 points, I think they'll be fine, right? Noah Fifita, I was high on him coming into the season, but he has not looked good. He has eight touchdowns, 9 interceptions with a QBR of 49. He gets flustered a lot. Like I said, he always rolls out. to his right. I really barely see him goes out to the left, but he always just leaves the pocket a lot of times when he don't have to. He never steps up. And then, like I said, they really only have TT. Him and TT, you know, grew up together, so I'm not sure if the other guys are not good and he's maybe just not targeting them, but TT is really their only factor. They had one big win against Utah, but it was against Zach Wilson, brother, and they threw 2 interceptions, so that, you know, gave them 2 short fields, and they won that one 23-10. But like I said, if Colorado could get to 28 points, I think they get this dub. But I think they kind of, with a big win, Colorado win this one 31-13, and move on 5-2, and a big Big 12 conference win for my Buffaloes. Last preview game, week 7, ACC matchup, Miami versus Louisville. Miami coming off the bye. Last 2 wins, they had to come from behind and get the W. I think this week, big thing, I'm sure Cam Ward and the coaches have been preaching is to start fast. Miami has to start fast. Louisville, that's no slouch. They coming off a big win last week against Virginia. They have a great freshman running back in Isaac Brown. 500 yards so far this season. 300-yard games. And then you say Virginia Tech kind of beat Miami with the run. He had 206 yards. Virginia Tech's running back ran for 206 yards against Miami. So look for Isaac Brown to be the focal point and get a bunch of carries for Louisville. And then Miami, top offense. I think the biggest thing here would be, can Louisville keep up? You know, Miami averaged, I think, 30 points a game, 500-plus yards. But Cam has to protect the ball. The last 2 games, Cam has thrown 3 interceptions in his last 2 games. And he's falling behind. He's throwing interceptions because he's become greedy. He's got, you know, used to the success and all the crazy plays, and he looks for the touchdown play each play. But the biggest thing on him, his biggest draft weakness is going to be not taking what the defense gives you. He has to take what the defense gives him. If they're playing deep and playing prevent, you take your 6-yard route. You take your 5-yard route. He has to learn to take the 6 and the 5-yard route. He cannot look for 40, 30-yard gain every play. So look for that. Look for Louisville to play prevent type of defense, and Cam Ward to choose. Take the short route, or you force the deep pass and then you throw some interceptions or throw some tough passes, you know, for your receivers to catch, or incompletions, and then you be getting off the field and maybe you find yourself down again. You don't want to find yourself down again against this good Louisville team. But I do have Miami pulling this out. I think the bye week was big for them. You get to assess, and then you see coming off 2 close games, get the game back to earth. Then the bye week gets them totally back to earth, and then they come back out strong in this game. Miami pulling this one out fairly close, say 31-24. Does Miami move on to 7-0 and keep at it with Clemson in the SEC, and that would be a good SEC championship matchup. So those my picks. Week 7. Let me know you guys' picks. Big college week. Love the Bama-Texas game. Love the Bama and Tennessee game. Love the Tennessee-Alabama game. This Miami and Louisville game can be good. I think it will be good in the first half. Then Miami pulls away. But let me know you guys' picks. Shout out my Buffaloes. I said it shouldn't be close, so it shouldn't. I'm your favorite host, Trill. I keep it 2 things. True, real. Peace.